Ladies and gentlemen, the first of our guests, young man who's been here before. So will you give a nice welcome back to St Andrews, Ed Miller.
Thank you. I have been here a lot before, but it was usually a long time ago when Davy Craig lived in Fife and things like that. And it's nice to see some of the faces that were there about 10 years ago still here tonight, even if they've never been here since then until tonight. I'll sing you some, having lived in far off places. Later on in the evening I'll try and sing you some cowboy songs, but start off with a ploughboy song in more traditional British fashion. And what you sing at the end of each verse. Oh, the lark in the morning, she rises off her nest, goes up in the air with the dew all on her breast. And like the jolly ploughboy, she whistles and she sings, comes home in the evening with the dew all on her wing. Now Roger the ploughboy, he is a sporting blade, he goes whistling and singing over every underglade. He met with dark-eyed Susan, she's handsome, I declare, far more inviting than the birds all in the air. For the lark in the morning, she rises off her nest, goes up in the air with the dew all on her breast. And like the jolly ploughboy, she whistles and she sings, comes home in the evening with the dew all on her wings. And as he was a-walking from the rigs o' the town, the meadow being mown and the field being cut down, if I should chance to stumble all in the new mown hay, it's kiss me now or never then, this bonny lass did say. For the lark in the morning, she rises off her nest, goes up in the air with the dew all on her breast. And like the jolly ploughboy, she whistles and she sings, comes home in the evening with the dew all on her wings. Now in 24 weeks they were over and past, this pretty young maiden, she grew thicker round the waist. Oh, it was the jolly ploughboy, to her mother she did say, for he caught me all of a sudden, all in the new mown hay. For the lark in the morning, she rises off her nest, goes up in the air with the dew all on her breast. And like the jolly ploughboy, she whistles and she sings, comes home in the evening when the dew all on her wings. So here's to that jolly ploughboy, wherever he may be, he likes to keep a bonny lassie sitting on his knee. Wi' a jug of good strong porter, he'll whistle and he'll sing, that ploughboy is more happy than a prince or a king. For the lark in the morning, she rises off her nest, goes up in the air with the dew all on her breast. And like the jolly ploughboy, she whistles and she sings, comes home in the evening with the dew all on her wings. I think we'll stay with bird songs, although that's maybe a song of seduction rather than about larks. This is a song called The Cuckoo. It's an American version of lots of British and Irish songs, but when they cross the Atlantic, they get a bit changed. It's become a sort of blues song. She is a pretty bird, and she warbles as she flies. She brings us good tidings. She tells to us no lies. Yes, the cuckoo, she is a pretty bird. I wish that she were mine, for she would never drink no water. She'd only drink wine. Oh yes, Jack-a diamonds, Jack-a diamonds, I know you of old, 'cause you robbed me of my silver, and you robbed me of my gold. But I've gambled over in Holland, I've gambled down in Spain, and I'll bet you my last dollar that I'll beat you this next game. Oh yes, the cuckoo, she is a pretty bird, and I wish that she were here. For the more that she cries cuckoo, the summer draweth near. This is an Irish song that does also have a verse about the cuckoo. Cuckoos keep appearing in a lot of songs. The cuckoo verse has very little to do with the main message of the song, it being an emigration ballad from the southwest of Ireland. It's called Bon Cloudy. Oh, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she sings as she flies, and she brings to us good tidings, and she tells us no lies, and she drinks all the birds' eggs just to keep her voice clear. And the more she cries cuckoo, the summer is here. For the praise of Bon Cloudy, they run down to the sea, and by the praise of Bon Cloudy, I'm longing to be just a drink and fine liquor in the midst of good cheer. Here's a health to Bon Cloudy and the lass I love dear. For it's why my love slights me, it's you may understand, for she has a freehold and I have no land. She has great store of riches, both in silver and gold, aye, and everything fetting from head down to toe. So if I were a clerk and had wings and could fly, I would fly to my true love in that town where she does lie. For I am a poor exile who was wounded in love. Once I lived in Cloudy, but now I must remove. So it's fare thee well, Father, and my mother adieu, and my sister and brother, it's farewell unto you. I am bound for America, my fortune to try. When I think on Cloudy, I'm ready to die. Well, this is another song from the other side of the Atlantic, from a town called Gloucester, Massachusetts, which is, used to be a whaling town. It's still a kind of fishing town now. And I think this song is actually a bit more fishy than the town itself. A very sad sort of country and northeastern song this. Oh, a Gloucester in Gloucester by the sea. I told her that I loved her and she said that she loved me. But my ship was loaded and so was she. So I lost her in Gloucester by the sea. I was sitting by the ocean when I first floundered. So just for the halibut I flung my arms around her, but I could not get to first bass with her, for she was all muscle and she had an ugly kisser. Told you it was sad. Now she lived with a card shark in a place that wasn't fine, and she was hard of hearing and she smelled like turpentine. But I fell for her, hook, line and sinker. How was I to know she was a whale of a drinker? So I lost her in Gloucester by the sea. She never said goodbye nor bade her zen to me. So now here I perch on the dock by the sea and sing this tune of my true love and me. I thought you'd get a big roar for that one. I'd like to sing you a song which is still slightly topical, although it was written back in April of last year by a Glasgow writer by the name of Adam McNaughton. He usually writes songs that are kind of mildly protesting, but with a good laugh in between about Glasgow. So I was very surprised when I saw this song in the sports page of the London Times in April. It concerned the visit of the Scottish football team to Chile last spring, because at that point they were so confident that they would be going to South America that they thought they'd have a trial run. And they played in Argentina and they played in Brazil and they also played in Santiago, Chile. And if you do play in Santiago, you play in the same stadium that was a concentration camp about 4 or 5 years ago. and where about 4,000 people died when the Allende regime was overthrown. So Adam wrote this song as a protest against the Scots people going to play there. Because he felt that if the team went and played, it was just like an open statement of support for the existing junta in Chile. Adam's from Glasgow, so he missed out the fact that there's some football teams in the east of Scotland, so I've changed the words a wee bit. And for anyone that's not a sort of avid football fan, then all the names mentioned in the song are from members of the Scottish football team, with the exception of Victor Hara, who may have been a great left winger, but he wasn't a football player. On September the 11th in 1973, scores of people died in a vile machine gun spree, and a Santiago sports ground became a place to kill. And now your Scottish football team has graced it with their skill. Ah, there's blood upon the grass. Aye, there's blood upon the grass. Oh, did ye go there, Archie Gemmell? Did you play there, Tam Forsyth? Where so many folk met early, the grim reaper and his scythe? For those people weren't terrorists, not even party hacks. And maybe some were goalkeepers, and some were centre backs, but now their blood's upon the grass. Aye, their blood's upon the grass. And Victor Hara, he played guitar when they took him to that ground. So they broke all his fingers so the strings no more would sound. But he just went right on singing songs of freedom, songs of peace. And even when they shot him down, his message didn't cease. But now his blood's upon the grass. Aye, his blood's upon the grass. So did ye go there, Big John Blackley? Did you play there, Andy Gray? Did it worry you to hear the voice of Victor Hara say, Somos 5,000, we are 5,000 in this place. And now your football players have helped the junta's dark disgrace. Ah, there's blood upon the grass. There's blood upon the grass. So do you stand upon the terracing in Ibrox or Parkhead? Do you cheer for the Hibs in green and white or the Dons in flaming red? For those Santiago victims, they were people of your kind. Too bad our football bosses couldn't change their bloody minds, 'cause now there's blood upon their hands. Aye, there's blood upon their hands. It was the day of the Junior Cup final to move grades, which is a day I'll never forget, because the other side's goalie was famous. He'd never let one goal past him yet. And on me, the side was depending as the centre to lead the attack. The manager says, "Nae defending, just get right in there," and nae heading back. So from the centre, I ran down the middle. My winger, he matched me with speed. I passed him the ball for a dribble. He crossed it and I nodded my head. 1-0. That was the beginning. I knew then that victory was mine. There was never nae doubt who was winning. By the half I had nodded in 9. But I have to hand it out to my wingers as we kept increasing our lead. A pair of them fair went their dinger. They'd just cross it and I'd nod my head. On that goalie, he was full of dejection. Couldn't he do nothing at all? Yeah, he dived in the wrong direction each time I nodded the ball. Well, I saw that goalie next morning in the street. I hoped he would make no fuss. So I gave him a nod in the passing, but he went and dived under a bus. To go back to Adam McNaughton's songs, after the sort of power and message of that one before that wee story, it's very surprising to me also that he could write a song like this one, which originally was a nice nostalgic love song in Denmark, until Adam translated it into Glaswegian. And it gained a lot in the translation. This is the nearest you get to a Glasgow country and western song, I think. When I woke up this morning and the bed was empty, and your teeth were missing from the glass on the chair, well, I thought you'd just got up to make the breakfast, and when I came through to the kitchen, you'd be there. But when I read the note you left me in my piece box, saying you wanted to go without no fuss, well, that's just something you learned in a woman's weekly. It doesn't happen to the likes of us. I blame it all upon those stupid stories where a doctor gives a nurse's heart a tug. Ah, but how the hell could you run away with a butcher? Especially a butcher with a name like Shug. Oh, you say that Shug's a good man and I'd like him, but that's just another line you got straight out the book. Well, I hope his pork gets swine vesicular fever and all his bloody meat falls off the hook. That's a symbolic line, that one. For our life together, this is a true line, wasn't much of passion, but I was used to you and I thought you were to me. But now you've gone, I'm feeling kind of empty, like the pain in the space where a bad tooth used to be. So Agnes dear, come back to me, I need you, 'cause I miss your love, I miss your tears and all. But more than that, I miss the colour telly that you took with you when you shot the cross. You can't beat the good songs, I tell you. I sang in Germany recently in a club where there was a heated discussion for 3 hours afterwards about the problem of singers that sing songs that don't have a political commitment behind them. And when you sing a song like that last one, you wonder how you could work one out. What the hell was I going to sing now? It was a great song. It was the best song of the evening. Yeah, a song by an Edinburgh journalist called Kenny Thompson, who sells his soul to the Daily Record or the Daily Mirror for several hours a day in Glasgow, but commutes back to Edinburgh in time to write the Sandy Bells broadsheet, which is on sale over here. And I think he writes better for the broadsheet than he does for those lesser but more selling journals. It's a song he wrote after going down to London for a few months trying to make a living as a journalist there, and he got very cynical at the behaviour and expressions of a lot of Scots exiles. Catch a train fae Abbotssinch, take a bus or a sleeper at a pinch, for leaving Scotland is a cinch. If you want to join the exiles, fae Methil and fae River Glen, march the gallant working men, but they'll never see a single end in all the plains of Hampstead. So will ye no come back again? Will ye no come back again? A much better man you're sure to be, and at least you'll no be exiles. For Trendy lives in Northwest 3, drinking wine but it's no VP, aye, and telling tales from his granny's knee. We other joints for smoking, aye, and professional Scotsmen in the Strand, shouting all their native land was like us, they do demand. Gay few and they're all exiles, so will ye no come back again? Will ye no come back again? A much better man you're sure to be, and at least you'll no be exiles. For St. Andrew's night, aye, and then there's Burns, the exiles do their tartan turns, and remember the land that each one spurns till the last day o' December, and then it's him for Hogmanay, all bolstered up with 4 weeks' pay for a football game on New Year's Day. Then it's back to join the exiles. Will ye no come back again? Will ye no come back again? A much better man you're sure to be, and at least you'll no be exiled. So you see them crossing o'er the Tweed, so happy among that leaving breed, and meanwhile Scotland's heart does bleed, so we can buy our exiles. Will ye no come back again? Will ye no come back again? A much better man you're sure to be, and at least you'll no be exiled. I'll finish off this set with a song from Texas. There's a lot of good songs from Texas, but you really need a fiddle player and a nice steel guitar player. And the man with a big hat. I don't think you know it. It would take you that long to get up here anyway. Second half, I'll get you one though. I want you all to imagine that you've not come in from a sort of 35-degree St. Andrews, that you've been riding a horse across West Texas or Arizona or New Mexico. It's about 103, and you see this lovely bar by the roadside, and you pull the horse up and you go in, and the beer is nice and cold. Yeah. I forgot my hat for this song. In a bar in far West Texas on a hot and sultry day, a cowboy came in off the road just to pass the time away. He pulled himself up to the bar, pushed his hat back on his head, and I listened to his stories, to the tales that cowboy said. He says, I'll tell you stories about the Indians on the plain, talk about Wells Fargo and the coming of the train. I'll tell you stories about the buffalo that roamed. Talk of all the settlers come out looking for a home. But now the man with the big hat, he's buying. Drink up while the drinking is free. Drink up to the cowboy who's dead or a-dying. Drink to my compadres and me. To my compadres and me. Well, his shirt was brown and faded, and his hat was dark and black, and the jeans that once were blue were grey and had a pocket gone and back, and he had a finger missing from the hand that rolled a smoke. But the silence was never broken as this cowboy began to spoke. He says, I've rode this cattle trail from here to San Antone, 10 days in the saddle, boy, and weary to the bone. And I've rode from here to Wichita without a woman's smile. The fire where I cooked my beans, it was the only light for miles. But now the man with the big hat, he's buying. Drink up while the drinking is free. Drink up to the cowboy who's dead or a-dying. Drink to my compadres and me. To my compadres and me. Well, he rolled another cigarette as he walked towards the door, and I heard his spurs a-jangling as his boot heels hit the floor. And he hoisted in his belt a notch, pulled his hat back down on his head. He turned to say goodbye to me, and these are the words he said. Now the high lines chase the highways, and the fences close the range. To see a working cowboy now is a sight that's mighty strange. For a cowboy's life was lonely, and his lot was not the best. But if it wasn't for the life he led, there wouldn't be no West. But now the man with the big hat, he's buying. Drink up while the drinking is free. Drink up to the cowboy who's dead or a-dying. Drink to my compadres and me. Drink to my compadres and me. Rode off into the west. See you later. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome back, please. The winner of the men's singing at Kinross, which I forgot to mention earlier, Ed Miller.
Well, we've only got a short while, and it's really nice that most people have stayed this long. But I think this has been a kind of special night. I had a whole list of songs I was going to sing, and I'm quite happy to leave a lot of them out, but to hear the good music that we heard tonight. So I think what we're going to do just for the last 15 or 20 minutes, I'd like to sing a few songs rather than singing traditional songs, which I also like to sing, I'd like to sing you a few songs that have been written in the last 10 or 12 years, because this folk revival in Scotland, if I can get on a hobby horse for about 30 seconds, is not a thing that should just be a matter of bringing up songs from the past and keeping them alive. It should also be a very alive thing of using the traditional style and technique and keeping that tradition going by writing about songs that are about things that are happening today. And I'll start with a song written by a Glasgow school teacher. And if you're a Glasgow school teacher, you deserve the VC. I went to school to get myself a general education, and then to university until my graduation. A year at education, college, then 2 years probation. Then I was fully qualified to follow my vocation. I'm a teacher born and a teacher bred for the rising generation. I teach for love and for the money and for the long vacation. Oh, I've taught them soft, I've taught them wild, I have taught them wild and willing, and teaching hard or teaching soft, the pace for the teacher's killing. I have taught them young and I've taught them old, I've taught them 5 to 20, 'tis some I've got across damn all, but some I've taught them plenty. I'm a teacher born and a teacher bred for the rising generation, and I teach for love and for the money and for the long vacation. Love, money and vacation seems a very good combination as far as I'm concerned. I'd hate to put them in order. I have taught with 50 in a room that was too small for 30. I've taught in schools both hot and cold, and rooms both clean and dirty. And I've taught without lights or books or ventilation, but the kids and I have licked it all with brains and imagination. I'm a teacher born and a teacher bred for the rising generation. I teach for love and for the money and for the long vacation. And I can't operate a crane, I've never made a table, but working with ideas and weighings, there's none as more able. I have taught them hard and I've taught them young, I've taught them 5 to 20, and to some I've got across damn all, but some I've taught them plenty. I'm a teacher born and a teacher bred for the rising generation. I teach for love and for the money and for the long vacation. And a song written for a play about 2 years ago for the 51st state of America, which you're living in. The cuckoo calling from the tree, and the girl that whispers tenderly, and the song that lingers hauntingly, that's the music of the Highlands. But now the pibroch song is dead, and the mighty bagpipes put to bed, for they're piping in the oil instead, that's the music of the Highlands. On with the music that we sing, you'll hear it sound in everything. It's the music of what's happening all around the Highlands. For the farmers can't make both ends meet, and the crofters face up to defeat. but they're still dancing in Wall Street to the music of the Highlands. For the some have cash, aye, and food to spare, but there's some have none, and cupboards bare. For Texas rules and they don't care for the music of the Highlands. Aye, it's on with the music that we sing, you hear it sound and everything. It's the music of what's happening all around the Highlands. For it's in the Highlands long ago, they said the people had to go, for the sheep were needing space to grow to the music of the Highlands. Ah, but now they're being cleared again, and there's children off on every train, and very few come back to claim the music of the Highlands. So it's on with the music that we sing, you hear it sound and everything. It's the music of what's happening all around the Highlands. So from Inverness to Stornoway, and from Sullomvo to Galloway, the mighty boom has blown away the music of the Highlands. Oh, it's on with the music that we sing, you hear it sound and everything. It's the music of what's happening all around the Highlands. Yes, it's on with the music that we sing, you hear it sound and everything. It's the music of what's happening all around the Highlands, all around the Highlands. This is a poem written about 40 years ago by an Edinburgh poet who was an important member of the Scottish Renaissance group of poets, I suppose you could call it. And it's called Capernaum for some reason, which Hamish Henderson described to me, or explained to me in some flowing state of euphoria the other day. But I can't remember exactly what he said. I call it Embro Embro, because I put it to the only two chords that I know. And it's a song that sort of rests on the gory aspects of Edinburgh's history, that it's not exactly been the happiest place to live. For the broken hearts of thee, Embro, Embro, for the broken hearts of thee were heaped in a how, there would be neither land nor sea, Embro, Embro, there would be neither land nor sea, but yen rod rain thon red bray and thou. And if all the psalms sung in thy kirks, Embro, Embro, if all the psalms sung in thy kirks were gathered in a wind, it would shock the tops o' Roslin Burks, Embro, Embro, it would shock the tops o' Roslin Burks till time was it all mine. And of all the blood that thou hast shed, Embro, Embro, if all the bloodshed at thy throne were sped into a river, it would ca' the mills of Bonington, Embro, Embro, It would call the mills of Bonington forever and ever. And if all the tears that thou hast grat, Embro, Embro, if all the tears that thou hast grat were shed into the sea, or would ye find an Ararat, Embro, Embro, or would ye find an Ararat for that fell flood to flee?
Well, living in Fife, you've probably heard one of the best songs from Fife called Fife's Got Everything. And after hearing Davy Craig and Robin McKidd, then you know that it's true. There's also a lot of songs come from Glasgow in the last few years. So in response, here's the only song I know from Edinburgh other than that last one. And it's set, I think, quite fittingly to a tune called The Flowers of Edinburgh. Written by Kenny Thompson again, who I think is the most underrated folk singer, or folk writer rather, in Scotland. And he said it's a very personal song for him. I'm only about 5 years younger than Kenny Thompson. Maybe a wee bit more, I don't know. So I can identify with a lot of the things he's singing about in this. Oh, when I was just a lad and things weren't quite so bad as the life I had to suffer when now that I'm a man. Oh, my sannies on my feet, but the tram cars in the street didn't knock you down when you all played at kick the can. And there was sweets on ration, and the height of passion was to kiss wee Betty Mackey or wee Isa Brown, for their knickers were dark blue, which was a very common hue when I was just a laddie growing up in Edinburgh town. I think we'll change the key there. No, it never seemed to rain, and the summers in the main seemed much warmer than the summers that we have today. 'Cause there was no atom bombs, and the Portobello proms drew the tourists through for Glasgow just to spend the day. With their pitchin' tossin' and their candy flossin', they'd go back to the charry that they'd left at noon. And before they'd had a few, they'd be out to see the zoo, and they'd leave with high impressions o'er Edinburgh town. No, now I know there's been a war, but my mummy's chili jars would get us to the pictures on a Saturday. 'Twas stooges on the screen and an ice cream in between, then would hop across the range with Cowboy Cassidy. And New Haven wifeys with their boxing knifeys would sell a plate of mussels when you climbed the tune. And on Sunday in the park would play football till the dark and pretend we're Laurie Riley there in Edinburgh town. Ah, but now I'm getting old, and the truth it must be told, I don't know what they're doing now to Scotia's pride. Old buildings seem to die, and the new ones scrape the sky, and it doesn't seem the same place where I used to bide. But forget my mumpin', for it still has something that you could never find by going to the moon. So I'll put aside my ills by the castle and the kills, and content myself that I'm a lad for Edinburgh town. Good song that, I think, great song. Well, there's only one really good, or there's only one perfect song that's been written in Scotland over the last 20 years. When I listen to songs like what Davy and Robin started off with, Faded Love, then I realise why I like to live in Texas occasionally. When I hear songs like this one that I'm going to sing, then I realise why Scotland has a lot of good things too. And I have a fantasy that sometime around the 27th of June in this year, there would be a large number of Scotsmen singing this song in Buenos Aires. Unfortunately, I think Scotland have much more chance of winning the World Cup than this song has of being picked up as the national anthem, which it should be.
Rock the wind on a dark day's dawn, and blows the clouds Ulster Gowdy on the bay. But there's mair nor a rock wind blowing o'er the great glen o' the world today. And it's a thought that would gather rottens all the rogues that can gall us fresh and gay. Take the road and seek the lowlands, for the real plies to sport and play. Nae mair will our bonny callants march to war when our braggarts crystally craw. Norway winds fape at heat our clackan, mourn the ship sailing down the Primella, and broken families and lands we've harried will curse Scotland the brave, nae mair, nae mair. Black and white until they're married, oh, make the vile barracks o' their maisters bare. So come all ye at hame with freedom, never heed what the hoodies croak for doom. And your house all the bairns o' Adam can find beef and barley brie and painted rum. And when MacLean meets with his friends in Springburn, all the roses and geens will turn to bloom. And a black boy they on Nyanga, holding the bow gallows o' the burghers done.
Good night to you. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, give us once again Ed Miller.
Thank you. It's very nice having been out of Scotland for a while, and every time I sing that last song, you have to take about 5 minutes between verses to translate it. And there's no real way that you can truly translate that song. So it's very nice to sing to an audience again in Scotland. Hopefully that it doesn't need translated and you all go away and think about it for about 10 hours and do something about it. Anyway, to finish off with a song by an old friend of mine that comes from about 10 miles down the road. Used to sing at this club as well when it was down the road as well, nearer the chip shop. Every day I rise, I have to work, no matter where I might be. But there's no longer the thrill of new places to go, or of new people to meet. For there's only one place in this world where I belong, and that's where I'm going to go and stay. For a few years ago I'd been on this road too long, and I'm still here on this road today. Sorry, it's by Rab Noakes, this song. Knew there was something I had forgotten to say. I've been traveling up and down this road, and I'm tired of thinking that it doesn't have an end. But I like to think that I have friends who need me every bit as much as I need friends. For there's only one place in this world where I belong, and that's where I want to go and stay. For a few years ago, I'd been on this road so long, and I'm still here on this road today. And in changing my misery to laughter, I sometimes lose track of just what's real. For you don't have to be alone to be lonely, and loneliness is bad company. For there's only one place in this world where I belong, and that's where I want to go and stay. For a few years ago, I'd been on this road too long, and I'm still here on this road today. So all of you who are my friends, I'll be seeing you someday before long. I used to think that giving was just as good as taking, but sometimes it seems I may be wrong. For there's only one place in this world where I belong, and that's where I want to go and stay. For a few years ago, I'd been on this road too long, and I'm still here on this road today. Yes, I'm still here on this road today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night.
Well, for me, it's been a great night. I'd like to thank Ed Miller for allowing us to share these beautiful music. Ed Miller. I'd like to thank also Tony Cuff and Dave Stewart for their beautiful, beautiful harmony. Now gone, they've had to shoot off to a party rather funnily at Rab Noakes' house. Rob McKidd, David Stewart, High Speed Grass. They were brilliant. Our own residents, Sandy over there, Janet and Dennis Alexander. Most of all, I'd like to thank you for coming and making it a great night. Thanks for coming, more so for going, and we'll see you next week.